Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 13. Module 13 is the start of our last major essay assignment before the final. This will be an analysis essay where you will choose an advertisement and analyze the components of the advertisement. This essay will take us 2 modules, so it's shorter than the previous essays. And just kind of keep that in mind. We're right at the end of the semester or getting pretty close to it. So keep in mind the timing and making sure that you leave yourself enough time to write this essay. We will not be doing a peer edit with this one. We'll not be submitting a rough draft for this one. So we just have the 2 modules to work on it. This first module, so module 13, is going to be learning more about analysis and then and taking a quiz over the readings, and then doing a discussion board, which will just be presenting your idea to the class and getting some feedback on it. So the readings have to do with the Rhetorical Success in a Digital World chapter, which is about what we call multimedia or multimodal texts. That is texts that do not just involve words. And so that chapter is going to give you some other ideas to take a look at. Chapter 21 is also something that you can look at, and that is critical analysis. It does talk about media critique and reading media rhetorically. So kind of going back to the main idea that we have been looking at in multiple ways throughout the semester, which is breaking down and analyzing and understanding the situation that's created, in this case specifically for analysis purposes. And in this case, you're taking an advertisement and you're doing that with the taking a look at that rhetorical situation. So you'll want to read those chapters and take the quiz. The other thing that you're going to do is actually get some peer feedback on your idea for your analysis. And so this is the essay assignment. It's just kind of going over visual analysis criteria and what is expected in the essay. Couple of things to keep in mind. So your first task is to choose an advertisement that you can analyze. The reason we're doing this is because taking a look at visual media or visual text is another component which is really important in a writing class, but also just in college classes in general, because you're going to encounter this in other ways in other classes. Your essay can cover any kind of visual image. The best thing to use is an advertisement, but I've also had students use cartoons, like professional photographs, artwork, things like that. You want to make sure that your visual is still. Don't use a commercial, because that adds another layer of information, and it's just not, the essay is too short for that to happen really effectively. So you want to make sure that you have like a still image to look at. First thing you're going to do is introduce the visual by name. Make sure that you include what kind of visual it is and where it came from, that kind of thing. And then you're going to briefly describe it. The thesis statement will be the visual's main message, so what the creator is trying to say about their the world or whatever with their visual, and then your judgment of the message, so whether or not is effective can also be part of the thesis. You want to make sure that you present the analysis clearly, organized. Make sure you have good transitions between. You'll have most of your essay will be taken up with your discussion of design elements and compositional features. So things like how is it laid out, what is their use of color, all that kind of thing. The main thing is looking at how does that show the message of the whole image itself. And so making sure that you're tying back into that thesis is really important. And then you can also discuss the context. This is why I really encourage students to find like a print magazine and look in that for an advertisement. That's the easiest way to go about doing this. If you just Google advertisements, you're going to get just websites that collect random advertisements from random places, and those are not always the best to use for this assignment because if you just want to look for imagery that has, you know, meaning behind it or something, you're going to find a lot of what other people think about imagery, but it's not going to help you with your own visual. And so your analysis is intended to be for your analysis. I don't want you using additional sources. I just want you to discuss what you see in the advertisement and what you feel it means. You also need to have at least one paragraph that discusses the rhetorical appeals that are used, at least one, if not all three of them, and then the intended audience. So you want to make sure that you're naming a specific audience. Again, this is why an advertisement works best, because you can look at an ad, you know, if you pick up a men's health magazine and there's an advertisement in it, that men's health magazine is aimed toward a certain group of men, particularly men who are interested in, so younger men who are interested in their health, and usually are more into like, you know, going to the gym and athletes, that kind of thing. So that would be their specific intended audience. And that is the reason why they put their advertisement in that particular magazine. So we already know based on the magazine where or who that intended audience is. And then you can break it down further with that rhetorical analysis, seeing whether they use ethos or logos or pathos and which one's longest, that kind of thing. You want to use an appropriate tone. You can use first-person pronouns in this essay, but I encourage you to not use second person. You don't want to be telling the reader what he or she sees. And then also, this essay is only about 2 pages, so 2 to 5 pages. Another reason why commercials don't work as well, there's too many components to think about. So if you have a still image, you can get a good 2.5-ish pages out of it. Your works cited page will have just the one source listed on it. You will not have additional sources for this essay, so it's just the image itself. And then you also need to include a copy of the image. So if that's, you know, copying and pasting it off of the website where you found it, that's fine. If you use a print copy of a magazine, then all you have to do is take a picture and download that picture into your essay. But regardless of how you do it, make sure that there is a copy of the image in your essay. That just makes it so much easier for me to grade. So that's what you're doing for the essay assignment. And then the discussion board is the assignment that you're working on right now. So once you've decided, you know, you read over the criteria, you've decided what image you want to use, you can actually post it on the discussion board. And when you go to post an image, if you have that image saved, it makes it easier. You can post a link to the website too, but if you want to actually post the image itself, you can upload an image this way using that button. And so you'll post that and then answer the questions about it, and then you'll respond to your peers. So instead of doing a peer edit, we're doing this discussion board, which just helps to see what other students are doing, and then helps you kind of respond and point out some things that they may have missed. Helps us have a kind of second pair of eyes look over it. So that's the assignment itself. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.